Welcome to the Faces and Heels podcast. And you got Lewis Perry wearing a world's finest t-shirt tonight, Jack Purcell, and I ain't lying. We've got a three-ring circus, a bigger one than usual tonight, because not only are Lewis and I here, but we've got one half of the hottest tag team in the Northeast, and we're going to be talking about some of their matches coming up. We have one half of the main event, Jay Lion.
Roar! What's up, faces and heels? How are we doing today?
We're
Awesome.
doing pretty good, but Jack, we got the main event here.
You got
So
the
I
main
mean,
of the main event. So I mean,
the main of the main
important
event.
part.
So I mean, don't you think it should have been like, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, are you ready for the main event?
Yeah, I mean, I guess if I were a ring announcer, maybe, yeah.
That's the
Or
way it
Mr.
should
Black.
Yeah.
have. That's the way it should have been. I mean,
I'm sorry, man. I'm not following your script, brother.
You know, we may have to talk after this podcast about any future introductions, Jack. All right? You know,
I
But it's
understand.
all
I
good.
apologize.
Nah,
I-
you're good. You're good.
I draw well, that's what I'm good at.
Heck
I
yeah,
know.
that you do. That you absolutely.
it's this is how Jack sounds. Jack sounds like, ladies and gentlemen, may I please present to you the main event. What is that? Now, I mean, come on,
Wow.
Jack.
Wow, jeez. I guess I'm
Wow.
not very self-aware.
I
That's what I hear.
introduce myself or even draw, so I have nobody to critique a good, good intro. I'll leave that to my partner. You feel me?
Right on. I think I'm gonna let Lewis do the intros from now on. I'm gonna pick him apart. How you like that, Lewis? We got some fans already chiming in, Lewis. I don't want to waste too much time bickering with
No.
you, but we got Eric Hunting who says, "Good evening, gentlemen." Chris Hebert says, "What's up, guys?" And Eric Hunting says, "Wow." I think it was wow for my intro. I mean, I could be wrong.
No, I think it was wow for your voice. That's what I'm thinking.
I think it's wow for Jay Lion, man. What are we talking
I
about?
hope so. I hope so.
Man, I'm so pumped that you're here. And I mean, you guys have had a really short career. You and Midas Black haven't been around that long relatively. And what, 4 years? Am I in the ballpark?
Yeah, for 4 years active as a team, and like we were off 10 months of that because of COVID. So right when we were getting out there, everything kind of shut down really fast. So didn't seem like we had too much of a bright future, which honestly, I'm pleasantly surprised that the opposite happened. So super blessed to be in the position that we're at.
We've been hearing that story a lot when a lot of new, especially with tag teams, a lot of new up and coming tag teams, they're like, we just burst on the scene and they use COVID to their advantage where other people would be like, we can't make it, we can't do this, we can't do that. These other teams jumped into their spots and that was their time to shine. Do you guys
Right.
feel that the same way for you?
I absolutely feel like that was the case with us because I was working the whole time. I was an essential worker doing sales in New York City in the hotbed of it all. So I'm like, hey, look, I speak to Midas and I'm like, hey, if I'm going to risk it for my real job that I absolutely hated at the time, then I'm absolutely going to risk it for something that I love. And all the protocols and everything, like we were all testing, we were all really responsible. So, it was really a blessing. Also, when everything was off, I personally used it to get in better shape, like mentally and physically. So, like, I really used that time really wisely. I mean, everybody experienced it differently, but I could at least say for myself that I tried my best to use it to my advantage, and so did Midas as well.
Okay.
Nice. Go ahead, Lewis.
I was just. Where did the team's name come from?
So I was actually starting to do single stuff at first. So my best friend was saying that would be a really dope nickname for me, like the main event. As a human being like me, that's just be a tag name. And we were stumped on names, and I was like, "Yo, what about this?" And like I could credit my best friend for our name. Um, so yeah, that's really how we got it, and it made sense because I was the lion guy, and he's coming up with this ringleader gimmick, and it just it really it just mixed perfectly, evenly. Main event, like a nice little trick on words, so to speak. So it worked out great.
This right here, this image of the two of you should be a T-shirt. This is a great shot of you two. This should be a print. And I fell in love with this picture, and I don't know who did the credit. I could see the name on the bottom, but
It is
this
John Washer from Beyond Wrestling.
okay, this right here is marketing all over it. Was this a impromptu picture, or did he like tell you guys, all right, this is what I want you to do, or did you guys just be like, this is what we got to do?
Yeah, we just so like the peace signs. Sumi Sakai,
Mm.
the ROH women's wrestler.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So every time we would go to her and Cheeseburger school, we'd always do the peace sign, just the Sumi Sakai peace sign. So that's just like a very joyful memory of ours every time we went to train out there. So shout out to Cheeseburger, shout out to Sumi Sakai. Sometimes when we just have nothing to do and we just kind of just throw up the peace, happiness, and onward peace sign. That's what we say. That's literally like onward is such a big word for us, and that's just representation there in that photo. It's just like we just want to like just radiate happiness for the most part, and good vibes wherever we go.
Where were you guys located when you were training with Cheeseburger? Were you guys in Philadelphia?
It was the old Ring of Honor school, so it was right outside Philly.
Gotcha. Because I've never heard a single person speak badly about him. He just seems to be one of the more beloved people in the world of pro wrestling.
Yeah, I love CB. Oh, thank you, Eric.
Yeah, for
Thank
those
you.
of you listening on the Angry Geeks Network, Eric Hunting says these two are extremely talented.
Appreciate you, man.
All right.
Uh,
I have
but
a quick question, then I'm going to give the floor back to Jack. Why a lucha mask? Why are you wearing? Are you a superhero in disguise? Do you have to hide your secret identity? What is the influences of why you're wearing a lucha mask? Is there a tradition behind it? I'm interested in finding out why the
well,
mask.
I'm very respectful of lucha libre tradition.
Mm,
I'm Puerto Rican. I'm Latino myself, and I like the lucha background from like Eddie Guerrero and Rey Mysterio, and even like watching Blue Demon Jr. Because some of my friends put me onto really good luchadors when I started training,
hmm
and it just had such a big influence on my wrestling style, the lucha, because I'm not a big guy. I may be big in frame and stocky, but I'm not the tallest. So like if I was ever to be in the land of the giants, there's gonna be plenty of people taller than me. So it's a very good style that I adapted to. And Also I was very like much that serious wrestler at first when I was training. I had no personality at all, which is like funny thinking about it now. People would think opposite because I'm very animated and very kind of like in your face and like unpredictable now. I wasn't like that. I wanted to be that serious wrestler, like the Malenko, you know, Kurt Angle. Like I want to be a smash mouth Samoa Joe, like Taz kind of wrestler where I'm coming in with like a singlet or long tights and just bodying people. And, that's cool and all. Don't get me wrong. But I learned that there's more to it from the entertainment background. And I don't think I could have been myself fully without putting this hood on.
Okay.
I keep it a secret because like I said, I respect lucha tradition where like, I don't show my face. Like there's very few people like outside of the locker room that actually know what I look like. I've been pretty true to kayfabe, so to speak, and it's just because of my huge respect for the art of lucha libre. So I try to like emulate that in my style, also, And yeah, that's really why I'm the man behind the hood now.
That is so respectable and just incredible. Eric comes back in. Jack, what does that say?
Eric says, "What prompted the steak in your mouth?"
Yeah, so at first I don't really do it too much now, because we try to be a little more serious. But at first it was again just trying things, throwing things on the wall and hoping to stick. I used to watch Private Party a lot because they come from the same show as us. We're from House of Glory under Amazing Red, and I would be amazed every time Quinn would do all these dives and flips. It would be like literally suicide dive, then Undertaker dive, then front flip, then Spaceman moonsault, and this guy kept his shades on. So one day, like just for fun, it was in Florida, Fest Wrestling. We were actually wrestling, I believe, Mainstay Posse, MSP now, and down in Florida, which is funny that like that's where we met them first of all places. Um, yeah, we wrestled MSP, good vibes, really good chemistry, and I was just like, yo, F it, like I'm gonna try just for fun, seeing if I could hold this steak in my mouth. And it wasn't the MSP match; it was the one before because it was a gauntlet, Metro Bros. And I kept it in my mouth the whole time. I'm like, holy smokes, like that was really fun. And I don't know how I could breathe because it's already hard under the mask. And I was a little heavier too. I was like maybe 243 at the time. Now I'm like a good 227, 226. But like, yeah. So it was just I was just doing that for a while for fun. And then people started noticing it, and I was like, hey, I guess this is kind of my thing now. Uh, but yeah, now I'm trying to shy away from it and be a little more serious. But
Yeah, it's funny because I'm really excited about AEW, and when I saw you guys on AEW, I'm going to talk a little bit more about that. But I just thought you having the steak was so perfect when you fought the the Jurassic Express, and
right.
you had that exchange. Like to me, that was perfect. That was genius. It was like, oh, this makes perfect sense why you would do that.
It honestly it had mixed reviews. So some people loved it and some people didn't love it. So it was definitely used as a like reasoning on why would we take you seriously, and with certain people. So with that respect, I'm like, okay, like I understand it, but wrestling is flavor of ice cream. What I may like and what I may enjoy and what you may enjoy and what certain people may enjoy may be different. So I just took it as constructive criticism, and I didn't see it as like like I'm still gonna sprinkle it in sometimes because people still remember it and people still know about it, but it won't be something that I'll do all the time, which is even cool because then it challenged us creatively to find other things to do.
Can you
So
tell us who didn't like it or no?
I would like to keep that like quiet because I
Okay.
don't like people, like I don't like speaking bad on people
No,
personally.
no, it's perfectly fine. I think I would have a general idea on who would probably say something like that. That they, as a person, wouldn't say it. And I'll bring that up after the show when you're hanging out with us.
Yeah, right on, right on.
And all you have to say is yes or no or wink your eye. If I was correct.
With a mask
But
on.
no, no, just shake your head. um, but yeah, I think
But
I have a feeling of who would actually say that. Did you get any positive feedback on your ring work while you were at
super
AEW?
positive stuff. There was nothing wrong according to everybody on our ring or on our in ring. Our in ring, they told us we were crisp, we were good, and we just never got called back, and that's okay.
Oh, there's still time. There's still time.
Exactly. And there's other places too that we're working on, which like again, like through the grace of God, hopefully we make it to those places. Like, thank God pro wrestling is thriving and there's so
Mhm.
many places to work. But I could really honestly thank AEW because if it wasn't for AEW, we wouldn't be in the places that we're at right now.
Oh,
I think right after we did the loop is the first time we did our first Limitless show, and that was like March, taping in March that got aired in May, and we never looked back from there. So, and if it wasn't for that and this highlight tape that Randy stumbled upon and MSP, constantly being in Randy's ear, like, hey, look at these guys, look at these guys, look at these guys. Like, we wouldn't be in such a great position at Limitless Wrestling. and like and beyond wrestling, and just everywhere on the East Coast that we've been blessed. Like I'm so thankful and I'm so elated. Like, and I can speak for my partner as well. That guys, that where you get to be in rooms and locker rooms with the minds of like Brian Excel and Mark from C4 in Canada, and Randy Carver and Drew Cordero and even Paul Crockett with Wrestling Open. Like, these are really great minds. And just to be in a locker room where I always feel like I'm growing on a weekly basis, it's I couldn't ask for anything else. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's remarkable in such a short period of time. Not only how many of, in my opinion, some of the top companies that you guys are considered to be top guys in, but also that the list of people who you've already been in the ring with matches, I think maybe all of the tag teams we've had on our show. And sadly, we haven't done as many tag teams. Like, I know you faced all of them. We've had Miracle Generation, The Haven, and Brick City Boys, who we'll talk a little bit more about later. And I believe all of them mentioned these two teams, the Briscoes and FTR. And you guys had great matches with both of them.
Yeah. I love FCR. They actually challenged my brain. I feel like I leveled up that day, even though, you know, people say what they want to say about it being a job and whatever. Like, that whole match for us was on the fly, and not a lot of people know that, right? So that's one thing. They just, you know, we just called finish, and everything else was all like impromptu, nothing staged. Everything in that was a fight, was real, and it was great. It's one of the most organic feelings I've ever had in wrestling. So I hope, like, me and my partner, every day we literally work harder every week, because one day we want to have that real, you know, like 2v2 with them and be ready for it. Because it's one thing having the 2v2 for it, because I wouldn't, like, even in my stage now, like, I still want more time to prepare for that. Even knowing what we've done and who we've wrestled, like, I want to be like at our peak when we hit FTR, because I just feel it's gonna happen again one day. And they even said it, hey, when it's our turn, like, you know, we're gonna go bananas. And based off, if you guys watch both tag team matches with the Briscoes and FTR, like, they both went bananas, and we've gotten to go bananas with the Briscoes twice, and I just know that, like, FTR is something special with them. And I'll definitely learn another notch and another level being in the ring with them. It's a big goal of mine. Like, even just being in the ring with the Briscoes was a big goal of mine. And I don't know, like, it's FCR, just the sound of that tag team always puts a smile on my face.
Who was tougher?
Who was tougher? Damn, that's tough. That's a tough question. Honestly, there's so much grit with I can't answer that. Like, there is no answer to that question. They're both equally gritty teams, and I just like hard hitting, snug. Like, if you just get that feeling of realism, and they're so crisp, I can't answer that. I'm sorry. Like, I gotta say it's a tie.
Okay.
Right on.
Saying that because I love one more than the other. Obviously, I'm gonna love the Briscoes 2v2 because we got to really display who we were, like, fully, and we really, like, got a rub that night. But it's different, you know. It's they're too simple, and I'm just happy they got to touch at their peaks and primes of their career. And, along with the Usos, those are the three best tag teams in professional wrestling. Period.
Yeah, I would love to see you guys in there with the Usos. Talk about a dream match. Like, when I saw you guys against the Briscoes, all I could think was dream match. And FTR, I couldn't believe it. You know, it was like a dream match, really. And again, like you said, down the road when you guys collide again, and I'm confident you will, it's going to be even
It's gonna be a
better.
banger.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
because of that experience.
Yeah, Eric Hunting, thank you for coming to that first grind show. We're glad that we blew you away. That's always our goal, you know, going to the square circle and making sure the fans leave happy. So thank you, Eric.
Yeah, Eric Hunting says, I saw them at the first grind show and I was blown away.
Yeah, that was against MSP at that show, if I recall
Oh,
correctly.
yeah. Love those boys. Love those boys.
Yeah, and that was the last match, like the main event. That was amazing. And Grind is a company that we're definitely going to be talking a little bit more about for a couple of reasons. That match really, to me, established the fact that Grind's not just about men's singles matches, that tag team is a big deal. And I think over
Yeah.
the last two cards, the tag team aspect of Pro Wrestling Grind has really kicked into high gear. And that last show was outrageous. You guys were part of that. And now this Friday in East Hampton, Massachusetts, on the 30th of September, we're going to see you against the Brick City Boys, which again, to me, like that could be the show stealer in my opinion.
Yeah, it's definitely a sleeper. I feel like that team has grown so much. Like they've gotten better and better as we've wrestled them. Like our first match with them at the Beyond Uncharted Territory season finale was good. It had its hiccups, but it was good. Um, and like working with them more and more, like they are, like they're kind of like another team that I think, you know how everybody was like FTR is good, but like you don't know, and then all of a sudden FTR is great. There's gonna be like years to come where we're gonna look back at Brick City's growth, and it's gonna be like wow, like and it's before our eyes. Like we don't know what we have, but those two are very special. They're very special. Like I'll say that. Um, and funny thing is, like we got some history because we actually at Wrestling Open had the first ever no disqualification match against each other. And we kind of owe them a little something because they hit my partner in the spine with a brick.
Oh,
I was just gonna say that. Watch out, because they do have those bricks, and so
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, Brick City Boys, if you're listening, you know we remember. It was not that long ago, and we might have a different vibe in the White Eagle nowadays, but the Emerald Ring, we're the aces of that joint. So, you know, come Friday, we might make you eat the brick and not just hit it. You feel me?
whoa,
nice.
ho, ho,
At
ho,
the end of the day,
ho.
and I'm gonna get a little ghetto real quick. We're from New York City, so I'm from the Bronx. So like the bricks that they're talking about, like it does not compare to the concrete jungle that I grew up in. So I mean, we'll see Friday. You know what I'm saying? We're not gonna talk too much. There's gonna be a lot of fighting that day. You know, but isn't that's what grind's all about though? That's the vibe that grind has. It's a place of battle. It's a place where heavyweights can be heavyweights, and you know we got cruiserweight style action, and that's where Rip Bison, you know, that's he has this special kind of aura and vibe that separates grind him and Delmy, that separates grind from limitless, that separates grind from beyond. And again, it's wonderful. Like we got to wrestle the Saito bros too, and phenomenal. It was great, and they're only 1 year in, and we had a great match with them, and it's just a very competitive place, and I'm
I,
just waiting for to get tag straps
yeah,
very soon.
Yeah.
You
yeah.
know,
I said it before about grind compared to other indie promotion, and Jack, you may remember this. Grind is just very intimate. Their setting is very intimate. The arena where they are at is very intimate. The crowd is very intimate because it's so close together. And it really makes the boys, the talent, shine because you guys put on one hell of a show because everyone is so close together and you don't know what's going to happen. And, the grind shows that I've been at is just fantastic. I'm going to miss this Fridays because of a family gathering, but
no enjoy.
it's
We'll be
fantastic.
back.
I'll
We'll
be
be
there.
back soon.
Oh, I know you'll be there. You never miss a show.
Well, I'm not missing this. This is the main event for me.
This
Uh,
is
that-
this grind, pro wrestling grind. It gives me those vibes that like you know it has the makings of being another limitless and beyond, like in the next 3 where it's gonna be just freaking on fire because the matches in that place is top to bottom. It's pristine. Like you
Do
don't
you think
you
it's the guardrails or do you think it's actually the matches? Because
The guardrails are unbelievable.
they hurt, you know, they hurt some. Uh,
um, I, I have a question, Jack. I'm going to ask my question now instead of the second half of the show. Um, what was it like the first time you walked out past Gorilla through the curtain and saw someone in the audience holding up a sign with your name on it. What was the feeling you got, and do you remember what that sign said?
I don't know.
And wow, he's speechless, and he went away.
I'm
Oh,
sorry.
there he
You
is.
hear me? Okay,
Oh, there we
sorry.
go.
I
We're
got
back.
a call. Yeah. So I'm sorry. Yeah, I was pretty surprised. I can't tell you what I remember it saying, but one specifically I know, Limitless Wrestling sign guy had a really dope one that shocked me. But when I saw some signs, so that might be one specifically that I remember, and it was like a main event one, and it had a lion, like a lion on it, and it made me feel like, wow, people actually care about us. Because think about it, pandemic wrestling, a lot of it was online and Twitter, but like, the like that first Limitless show, that was a complete surprise. We wrestled Ashley and Delmy, the Sea Stars, and yeah, just the fact that some people actually cared about us, like, you know what I'm saying. It was testament to the work that we put in when no fans were around, and I really think people hated the pandemic era. Like, I think it made us, a lot of us, better performers, because if you could wrestle and speak and have your voice out there in front of 10 people and get wrestlers engaged, who sometimes, because we watch so much wrestling, we're not easily entertained and easily engaged in pro wrestling for the most part. I mean, it varies. That's just me. Some people will pop for anything, but it's hard to pop the boys sometimes. um so being able to pop the fans, it just felt so organic, and walking out and seeing somebody actually care, it was great. It was like, wow, okay, cool, we're on to something. Let's keep working.
Nice.
Okay,
And
cool.
speaking of all the hard work, we were talking about Pro Wrestling Grind. You guys are the only undefeated team in Pro Wrestling Grind, right?
That's why we're the aces of the Emerald Ring. The ace.
Nice.
Yes, that is. Well, I mean, nobody named us that. I mean, everybody's an ace everywhere, so we're like, F it. We might as well say it too. There's no title,
I
but
see a T-shirt. I see a T-shirt.
that is us. That we are the tag team at Pro Wrestling Grind, and we will be the tag team at Pro Wrestling Grind for days to come, because tag team wrestling is the main event. Like, if you think the East Coast, like, we are one of the most traveled teams in this little New England circuit. I think only people who travel probably as much as us is MSP, and now like Wave and Curls and Miracle Generation are starting to be in more places, and also Brick City. So like, but we're us, and if you don't believe in yourself, and believe you're one of the best tag teams, like, why are you even doing it?
Right.
We got. That's why I think New England tag team wrestling is so special, because pro wrestling open alone, we had a 16 team tournament. Where in the country are you going to find 16 teams to put in a tournament like that?
And all great matches, like really incredible teams.
Exactly. And some of them were even makeshift from the wrestling open roster, who barely have any kind of experience in tag team wrestling. But like I said, it's just a testament to the spirit of that building right now. It's just a special thing cooking in the White Eagle every week. So, and that's because, honestly, because tag team wrestling, there's a reason why Wrestling Opens, or Beyond Wrestling's first kind of championship. Yeah, they have Beyond Championship Wrestling, but let's be real, it's the Eliminator Cup. That's the first big title, because we've all made tag team wrestling special again, which was scary, because for a while when AEW came about, they took all the talent on the Northeast. Think about it. EYFBO was killing it. Well, now known as Proud and Powerful. You had EYFBO, you had Private Party, you had the Beaver Boys, you had the Hoods, you had a lot of special cool tag teams, and then it died, and then it got a little weird. It was only really MSP and us for a while.
Yeah, it really was like a phoenix, because we were talking to Miracle Generation about the same kind of thing. He's like, really, the Northeast is a mecca for tag team wrestling, and it isn't just like, I think one of the frustrating things for me that's getting a little easier to watch now, but with WWE, is tag teams are, like, to me, kind of a joke, because there's really very little of what I love about tag team wrestling in it. They're mostly just thrown together duos They have no chemistry. They have no reason to be together. And it's hard to get invested in that. But teams like you guys, Waves and Curls, Brick City Boys, Miracle Generation, The Haven, goes on, are all tag team specialists and are 100% dedicated to that art form.
Yeah. And Shook Crew. We can't forget Shook Crew too. I'm
Yeah,
sorry. I forgot to mention them too because they were they're another tag team that were killing it too very early on. But like you said, it's just a special thing, and I would hate to move out of this area because like I've thought about moving out, like just to get out of New York because New York's so expensive. And I just look everywhere else. I'm like, how's the indies there? Yeah, singles is cool, but how's their tag team divisions? And it's a little hard. It's a little hard, But there are great tag teams out there too. But like, they're the only ones in their spot, Like you got Greeny and Koo in one spot locking down 5 belts. You got the West Coast Wrecking Crew. You got Fly Def locking down Texas, and you got Culture Inc. locking down the South. But like, that's one name per area. Who the hell else is out there? So that's why that's our mentality. That's how we think up here, and we're really competitive. And I think Tony Khan said in an interview, like, Northeast is just a place for pro wrestling. Like anywhere else, No, I'm just kidding. I want to wrestle everywhere, but like I gotta be proud of where I'm from. I'm a proud New Yorker, proud of the New England wrestling scene. So.
Yeah, I mean, and you're so central to so much being in New York. Like, even if you move to Maine or Connecticut or Massachusetts, yeah, I mean, you guys are putting on a ton of miles and traveling. Like you mentioned, Limitless. I mean, most of the time you guys are in Maine, right? So that's got to be a really exhausting ride for you guys.
Oh yeah, and imagine if it was in Orono, like that old spot they used to run at. Oh boy,
like, I've heard about it.
That place I heard was like 8 hours away, and we did the Herman one. That was like apparently close to that one. I was like, whew, 7 hours. What? Like but you do it because you love it. And we were crazy driving all these miles to wrestle 10 to 15 minutes. What's wrong with us? Like sometimes even less.
It's passion. It's passion. That's what it is. There's nothing wrong at all. Jack, Eric has a question.
Eric does have a question. Eric asks if you have any long-term goals as a team.
Yeah, absolutely. Like we are manifesting because we're with Triple H kind of back in the fray. Like people don't really realize that Triple H is a Kowalski guy. Kowalski's New England.
Mm-hmm.
So like this man has pro wrestling, like independent wrestling in his DNA. So like there's more of a chance of guys like us to get signed probably again, So honestly, if I got to pick one place, it's 100% NXT. But like if a very short term goal, I would love to be on the Impact roster because there's a lot of great minds in that locker room too. So like
wow. You are the first that we had to ever say Impact. I mean, we had NXT, we had WWE, we had AEW, we had Ring of Honor. Never, Jack, do I recall anyone actually saying Impact.
Except you, because you want to meet Jordan Grace, but other than that.
But that's
for a lot of reasons, though. Think about it. So think
about for a lot of reasons I want to meet Jordan Grace. Don't worry about the restraining order. I got that taken care of.
Oh, no. Not the restraining order. Taken care of. What? No,
yeah. Anyway, Jack, what were you saying?
Well, of course, there's a ton of great minds, and you would know far better than us because I'm sure you know a ton of these guys. But I guess for me, I wonder what it's like for you as a pro wrestler and so much of your life being dominated by all the elements of it, not only the wrestling, but you guys are creating your own gear. You guys are traveling up and down the road all the time. For something like NXT, and I think you guys would kill in NXT, especially now the way they're kind of bringing back the ideology of the blue and gold. How would it work for you? Like, I don't know how much you want to talk about it, but I'm always interested in what would your approach be? Like, do you have a reel of like what you consider to be your best matches? Like, would you reach out to them? do they offer you a tryout? Like, how do you pursue something like that?
I think you just have to so with Impact, we did a few Impact stuff a few years back. The thing with them is that they look for you. All these companies look for you. Even AEW, like a lot of these guys could do, and I know I'm probably breaking crazy fade right now, but a lot of these AEW guys could look, or people who are trying to do extra work in AEW could look and then think this is my big break, but it's not. It could be, but a lot of times, think about it. Daniel Garcia, we knew how great he was. He was killing in the Indies. That man didn't ask to be on NXT. They found him. They see what they look at everything. They look at everything we're doing, like whether we know it or not. They might not admit it, but I'm pretty sure that like there are a lot of nostalgic WWE guys who used to be involved in all these bigger companies, all these bigger indie companies back in the day that watch. And, like when something's special, something special. And I really do know that like they got to reach out to you. Of course, you have to like for me, I believe paying dues is a big thing too, in like Impact or Ring of Honor, so that, you can meet the right people and you're also showing them, hey, like I'm willing to do this for free and I'm not even wrestling. Like, because I had really good experience at Impact, because we've done ring crew for Impact and whatnot, and I've had great experiences there. And I literally watched that show and thought like, hey, I could be on this show. You know what I mean? And that's how you got to think. But it's not like you're gonna keep hitting up the show. It's hey, just keep working. Because even I think it was Jimmy Jacobs told us that, hey, what do we got to do? No, I like your gimmick. Everything's cool. We just you got to blow up in your area. And this was way before the Beyond's Limitless AEWs. This is like 2019. And I even ended up, they even retweeted like the Hoop Dive, the Ring of Fire, before I even started flipping through it. And it was cool. It got a lot of traction, but it was still like, they know what they want. You know what I'm saying? So like all these companies, they're going to look for us. And some people actually have ways in, like through their trainers, through, people they know, through coaches, through teams, through clubs. But, everybody's path is different. There's not one path. So I'm just banking on just making every performance that I have count. Trying to do the best at like growing my brand and just trying to better my body, because the bodies is still a very big thing with pro wrestling. If you don't have a believable body, that you're not going to look like you could. Like, I want to one day look like I could wrestle Roman Reigns, and that's not saying that I can't. And I'll get to that question in a second. It's not saying that I can't, but it's a very aesthetic business. If I don't look like I could beat Roman Reigns, then does it really matter if I actually can? Like, that doesn't mean that they're going to book me to beat Roman Reigns for the world title. Like, I would love to be like in WWE, like Eddie Guerrero is like my same height. I'm 5'7", but Undertaker made him look like a larger than life character. I'll never forget. It was this one match. It was Armageddon in 2004. I'm a crazy wrestling historian, Mark, and stuff, especially for WWE. Undertaker literally like bumped his life away for Eddie Guerrero in that fatal 4-way and made Eddie Guerrero look like a larger than life superstar. Same thing with Brock. Brock did it for Eddie too. I would want to be that kind of like person. You know what I mean?
Well, they also did it for Mick Foley. I mean,
exactly. Mick Foley's a big dude though.
Yeah, I know, but they also, because of Mick Foley's look, Eric Bischoff, when they wrecked that Mick Foley won the championship, they were making fun of it, and it was the highest rated Raw of the time.
Yeah.
Jack, Eric comes up with another question.
Yeah, Eric asks if you would be afraid of them, which may be WWE wanting to change your characters, maybe the name, maybe the character, maybe how you present yourself.
Nope, I'm not afraid of it. I don't know how my partner feels about it, but I'm not afraid of it. Hold on, you guys still there?
Oh yeah.
I thought I lost you. You hear me? All right, there we go.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, cool. Sorry. I'm not afraid of it because I always am a big fan of like I'm always a big advocate for change. Like, you need change to grow. I'm not saying that I want it to happen. Like, I love who I am, but I think I've mastered certain facial mannerisms that I could probably take the hood off and be okay. Like, Sami Zayn is the perfect example of that. Nobody ever thought he would make it as far as he did, like in WWE, and as far as he has. because he's still active, as Sami Zayn. Like, look at how many character changes he went through. He took off the hood. He was Sami Zayn, just a cookie cutter white meat baby face, and then he turned heel and turned into and remember, he was given the best match quality, NXT, Monday Night Raw, and he even had great babyface matches against Kevin Owens, had great U.S. title reigns, Intercontinental title reigns, and he was a big babyface for years until they decided to turn him heel. And realistically, Sami Zayn is one of the hottest acts on television right now.
No doubt. No doubt.
And he changed. So you have to approach the change with with open ears, open mind, open heart, because you don't know what door could bring you in this business. So you can't be married to anything. You can't be married to one thing at all in pro wrestling, because change is good.
I do have to say, with Sami Zayn, that whole thing last Friday brought a tear to my eye. I was so sad at first, and then I'm so glad Triple H is in charge, because with the old man, he would never have done anything like that, and I thought it was so cool. And when Roman actually hugged Sammy afterwards, I thought it was brilliant. I was like, I'm not crying, you're crying. I really like that. I just wanted to put that out there, not to take away your time, Jay, but I was just like, that was amazing.
Yeah, no, I agree. And that's what it's about, though, right? Suspending disbelief, putting us on an emotional roller coaster that we could follow and we could really enjoy and relate with. Like, Sami Zayn is a relatable character, but the dude could freaking go. I was about to say that F word. Sorry, I know the rules. He could freaking go.
I know. I felt like so bad. I was like, oh man, they're gonna do him dirty already. Come on, don't do that. And I was like, so sad. And even Sammy himself looked like he was gonna break down and cry. You're
Which is
feeding
amazing.
off. I know, in the energy of the crowd, everyone in that crowd looked like they were gonna cry. They were all booing. And then when Roman gave him that T-shirt, it was like so much energy in that crowd. And Sammy just looked like he was gonna break down in tears. And then when he said, I acknowledge you, you felt pure emotion. But then to cap it off, when he hugged Roman and Roman was like, but the second Roman just embraced him, the roof came off. It was just like amazing. I just wanted to. I text Jack, that was awesome. I was like, that was just so cool. I loved it.
Yeah, everybody was happy besides Jey Uso, and then you look at it like, oh, the plot thickens. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. That's perfect writing. I was digging it. All right, Jack, go ahead. Well, go ahead, Jay.
Oh, no. I was gonna agree with you and just say and the crazy thing is, this is weekly television, so some TV shows can't write good stuff like that for 5 seasons, and it's only 13 episodes. We've had continuous great storyline for about 100 weeks with the Bloodline storyline, which is crazy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just it's phenomenal, just amazing.
I love that it's continued to be one of the best things about WWE, regardless of brand. And now, Monday Night Raw last night was stacked. I don't know if you guys watched it. Oh my God, I'm not going to spoil it, but
Ray versus Seth.
Yeah.
The announcement for Extreme Rules at the end, everything. It was pretty good.
Yeah, Matt Riddle against Punish. As Priest, I was still calling him Punishment Martinez.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was awesome. It brought back memories of some of their older matches. They just got to get Dominik Dijakovic back in the mix, and I'll be really happy. So hopefully that happens. But one thing I was going to talk about with the versatility of what you guys do, because you've clearly dedicated yourselves to the dynamics of tag team wrestling, but you've also got what I would consider to be anyway a built-in trio member when you guys have Nola Katano with you.
Yes, the Circus Ninjas. Yes, we do. Yeah, and it's a whole nother dynamic, because it's also I do tag stuff with him, and then Midas will do tag stuff with him. So it's like, damn. So like, even we have kind of like the New Day formula, like we wanted to adopt. So like, there's certain moments in a match where it's like me and Nolo will have really good chemistry and really good tandem offense without Midas, and it's like, then it makes people think like, wow, okay, Nolo and Lion could be a really good tag team also, like, and vice versa with them as well. So I'm the Big E. I called it. I'm the Big E. I'm Big E.
Yeah, man. I love New Day. Just got to meet them recently at a Blitzkrieg show,
Awesome.
which was unbelievable. Like I was
What? They were at a
fanboying out.
Blitzkrieg show?
No,
Well,
he
no,
at a
no.
comic book convention.
Well,
Video
it was
game
a video
convention.
game show, and the Blitzkrieg was having matches for 2 of the days at this video game show.
Mhm.
And as you know, those guys are big video game guys, and they were walking the floor. And I just went up to them and just asked them if I could have a moment and took a picture. And I was going on and on about what a fan I was. But they were
And
super
then a
cool.
restraining order came about.
Oh man, he was trying to get more than a box of bootios.
Yeah, he was. He was going for the bootios. That's what he was going for.
Man, I love me a good bowl of bootios. Let me tell you.
They were
FYE is
serving
not
them up.
around anymore, is it? Because they used to sell those.
They
They
are.
did. They're still around. They were like $12 for a box.
Oh
No,
man, what a shame.
they are still around.
Fire.
Good to know, Lewis. Good to know. I mean, so here's a question I have for you, because, again, like I love when you guys work as a trio. I think what you just said is why, because it is very New Day reminiscent, where you guys all have a dynamic that isn't just impromptu. It seems to be very calculated. And I was talking to Bill Thompson about this when he was on the podcast, and was saying how, man, I would love to see the next tournament that Wrestling Open does be a trios tournament. And how do you feel about that? Like, are you excited about trios matches or even a potential tournament?
Yeah, it's fun to watch, but I'm not gonna hold you. Like, I prefer tag, because trios, it could get messy, honestly. But but that's the fun of it. That's the challenging part of it. Like, my lazy self is like, trios. But like, then, like, let's be open minded, and you could do a lot of fun stuff. I don't think we've had a trios match that hasn't hit at Limitless yet. So like, every trio, I feel like we're like the New Day mainstay posse. Like, once they broke away, now it's kind of like that's our spot now to like put on those good trios matches at Limitless Wrestling. So it's really cool that we created a little niche for ourselves, which it was only supposed to be like a one-off thing.
Yeah, well, I just, as a fan, from a fan point of view, I would love to see more trios, and there were a couple nights at Wrestling Open where they did kind of seem to feature trios matches, and just as a fan, like, I was just eating it up. Like, I loved it, and it was fantastic. I think that night the Shook Crew were teaming with Rip, and it was just really fun. It was a fun night. But here's one thing I'm not going to ask you specifics about, because I'm pretty sure you can't talk about it yet, but have you ever wrestled for Blitzkrieg Pro?
No, I have not.
Because you're making your debut on the 7th and 8th of October.
Yes, sir.
And I'm not gonna. I won't ask you who you're wrestling, but are you guys going to be there both nights? Can you even say that?
We gotta see how night one goes. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I'm needed, I'll be in the building. But Circus Ninjas will be in action night one for sure. I can't say against who.
Wait a minute. Wait, hold it. Was that, you said if you're needed, you will be in the building?
Yeah.
Is that a hint?
No. So no, the concept, there's, I'm not spoiling anything, but there's a concept with the show. So like, it depends. It has to do with the winners of all the matches. Like, there's gonna be a payoff to that I can't go into detail because it hasn't been announced, but there is a payoff of Limitless versus Blitzkrieg. Yeah, we are Team Limitless. So, if we do our part, then maybe it'll be a big payoff for good old Circus Ninjas the next night. But even so, like, there's probably gonna be other matches. I'm not sure what the card is looking like, but we will be in town for sure for both days. But definitely night one for sure.
Okay.
Well, that's phenomenal because, again, we just talked about how you guys have just been like all over the place. I mean, especially dominating the Northeast and all the top companies. And now Blitzkrieg is, like you said, you haven't wrestled there, which is why I haven't seen you wrestle there. And now, I mean, I'm pumped that you guys are going to be there, and there's a lot of potential exciting matches there. I mean, I know you guys have gone up against the Shook crew before, but there's a lot of other guys in Blitzkrieg who perhaps you haven't been to war with.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to it. I hope we get to go to war with some new people at Blitzkrieg. I'm not really too familiar with the talent aside from the talent that I know is already there, but they're another growing brand too. So like it's gonna be awesome to make a debut, representing Limitless Wrestling at Blitzkrieg. So it should be really fun. I'm really excited for that. Actually, me and my partner are super duper excited for that show.
Awesome. Yeah, I am too. I can't wait. Here's a question I had for you, because your style in particular makes me think this. And even when I was watching your match with FTR, I thought about it, how, you're wrestling at all these different companies all the time. And some, you could be making a debut. Maybe the ring crew isn't the same. Like it seems like there's a lot of room for variation in the structure of the wrestling ring, the tightness of the ropes, even the dimensions of some of the rings. So when you are getting ready for a match, do you always make sure you're there ahead of time to kind of test out the structure of the ring to see if it's going to cooperate with what you plan to do that night?
Yeah, it depends because like my job, like sometimes I work a full like 50-hour work week as well. So with my job, like for Wrestling Open, we're barely making it like right before like the show starts. Like I think there's times where we've gotten there legitimately at 7:45, and that's not a good thing. It's just because like thank God, like I said, like Paul and Drew, like they trust us, and even Rip, like there's been times I've been coming from work, like, hey, can you put us on a little later, because like like wrestling is of course like our main thing, but I have to live, and without work I wouldn't have the outfits, I wouldn't have the car to travel in, and it's really just me and my partner. Like there's we don't have anybody else unless there's Nola with us. We don't have anybody traveling with us for the most part. It's very rare. It's been recently mostly just us two.
Are you guys near each other geographically?
We're like 40 minutes away from each other because of traffic. So it's a little it's not hard, but it's not as easy as it could be. You know what I mean? Because New York traffic is insane. Like, yeah, it's crazy.
So 40 minutes equals 2 hours.
No. So like it would be 20 minutes if there was no traffic, but it could be 42 an hour.
Okay. All right.
So here's a question I've asked a few people who've wrestled for Grind, because especially at the last show, like Jay Freddy smashed into those barricades, and with the kind of dives that you're doing in particular, which have a ton of velocity, you're not just kind of like eking out of the ring, you're shooting out of the ring.
Yeah.
Like that ring in particular, again, just from a fan standpoint, never bumped on it, I have no idea. Seems like it really hurts. Like it doesn't seem like there's any give on that ring. Like it's just bam. It just feels like it's steel. Like,
Uncle Ripper loves torturing the talent. Let me tell you, that man loves everything stiff and snug. But yeah, that is a hard ring. I'm not gonna lie, but it's a cool ring though. Like it's a really cool ring. So
it is an awesome ring. Yeah,
I have no complaints. I'm just a little more cautious and careful what I do. But sometimes I think me doing a move like twice, I've like lost wind in there, like twice for like a quick second. Yeah. Like one time I popped my ears. I popped. I think it was Aggro, Aiden Aggro. I popped him up to like jump up and give him a flatliner. That's like one of like a signature maneuver that I have that I bring out once in a while from my early wrestling days. I call it Jungle Fever. But so that like pop a flatliner, I came down and my ears popped, both of them. I'm like, oh, wow, what happened? I was like, oh, like I thought somebody had a dog whistle, and I'm really a lion here, and like someone like, and I'm like about to start bugging out, but not yet. My ear popped, and then I just lost wind one time. That was about it. But Uncle Ripper loves keep getting us strong. You know what I mean? Getting us nice and strong, brother. Nah, Rip. I love Rip. Like he's great.
He is a cool dude.
Hell yeah.
We're totally pumped about this show Friday. So if you're listening and watching and you're in the East Hampton, Massachusetts, Western Mass area, do make sure you come by to see main event, because they're going to be going against the Brick City Boys. It's the only tag team match of the night. They're having a tournament for the Grind Grand Championship. So a lot of singles matches. We'll see 2 rounds of the tournament, and then we get to see main event in Brick City Boys, which I really am genuinely psyched about.
They're gonna eat the bricks, and they're gonna be spitting and pooping bricks for at least 3 weeks, and maybe even eating out of spoons. You hear that, Victor? You hear it, JC? I'm gonna freaking pull JC by his mullet and tie his mullet to the ropes and pinch his nipples and make him eat bricks. You hear me, JC? Eat it, baby. Eat it. No, I'm just kidding.
Nice. Well, I hope they're watching tonight.
Yes, and one last comment from Eric.
Eric says it's going to be a fire match. Eric, you speak the truth, brother. It is going to be. Yes,
all right,
sir.
and we are approaching the top of the hour. So, Jay, can you please tell everyone where they can find you on social media, where they can find you and your partner on social media, and what kind of merch you guys got to sell? Where can they get your merch if they're not at a wrestling card where you guys are performing? Where can they get your beautiful merch?
Right on. So, on Instagram and Twitter, we're a little, I guess, too old for TikTok. We're trying. We're gonna try it. We're gonna try TikTok. We're gonna tick on the talk one day.
Nice.
But you can find me at Blazin _LYON, Blazin BLAZIN _LYON, Blazin Lion on Instagram and Twitter. On my Instagram, I have a link tree with like some matches, our YouTube channel, also a link of our t-shirts. We have some slam buddies coming soon. Nobody really knows that yet, but we got a couple of slam buddies coming soon and some hoodies to the merch table. But thank you for having me. I'm sorry my partner couldn't make it. He's a character. He would have brought some fun over here as well. But yeah, thank you guys. Thank you, Lewis. Thank you, Jack.
It was our pleasure. And once again, I was on my best behavior because I was enjoying the conversation. And it could be the new meds the doctor has me on too.
All right, let's double up.
Yeah.
No, seriously, they put me on new meds today. So, Jack, please tell everyone where they can find you and get some beautiful artwork, whether it be superheroes or wrestling.
Yeah, you know what? I'm going to be specific tonight, because if you go to my Patreon at patreon.com, you can get a preview of a piece that features, I don't know how much you'll be able to see this, but you could see here.
That's really cool.
Main event. I can't show you any more, but if you want to see the whole thing, it's on Patreon. If you just search Jack Purcell, you'll find me there. A lot of my superhero comic book and pro wrestling work is there. So I don't put a lot of that online anymore. But anyway, it's a really fun piece. That's for the Blitzkrieg versus Limitless show, which we're going to see Jay at with Minus on October 7th and 8th in Enfield, Connecticut. It's going to be banger central.
Hell yeah. We're going to have a good time. It's going to be a party.
It's going to be
not
awesome.
Not luau party, because they had that like last month or something, but we're going to still party. All right. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I'm not bringing my ugly shirt, but maybe I'll bring my Rey Mysterio shirt to this one. That'll be my wardrobe.
Right on. My God, are you in space, Lewis? What the hell? Are you in freaking space?
Those meds.
Are you a mother freaking Power Ranger or something?
At one time I was, actually. You'd be surprised.
Are you sure?
Yeah. Yes, you would be surprised.
Well, we're gonna have some talks after, because I got a little friend called Zordon too. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
Okay. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, well, you can find me at Jack Purcell Inc. And I know I'm too old for it, but we're on TikTok at Faces and Heels Podcast. Lewis isn't dancing, so that's his OnlyFans. So you got to go there for that.
Yeah.
But you can find us at Faces and Heels Podcast on Facebook, Faces and Heels on Instagram, and I'm loitering at Twitter at Jack Purcell 38. But I'm laying low. Lewis, where can we find you and your meds?
Okay, you can find me every Monday night. You can find me every Monday night on the Angry Geek Show with Quinderella, my sidekick, where you can find us live streaming as we talk to everybody underneath the sun when it comes to pop culture. We do have wrestlers on, we have authors, we have animators, we have movie stars and directors, because when it comes to podcasting, we are the cream of the crop. Every Tuesday night, you can find me with my brother from another mother, the one and only ink slinging Jack Purcell. You can find us on Pod TV on your Roku and Amazon devices. And then you can find the entire Angry Geeks network on wherever your favorite podcasts are found: Spotify, iTunes, Amazon Music, anywhere you go. Yeah, if you're on the go and you can't watch a video, just go over there, type in the Angry Geeks Network, and you can find Faces and Heels, and you can find the Angry Geek Show. Then you can also find me every Friday night, maybe, on the Mayhem Show with Mark May, if he doesn't fire me, because I am kind of a ball of fire on that show. And every week it gets closer and closer to Mark May saying, "Get out."
Hit the brakes.
Well, we
Hit
know
the
who the face and who
bricks.
the heel is here. You know?
I'm Lewis, that's Jack, and that's Jay. Please go find the main event. Hit that like button. Just like our shows, our network, go to the website, subscribe to our website, go to YouTube, hit that like button, and buy some of Jack's artwork. But most importantly, go over and buy some merch from these guys down here, because every match is a banger. We'll see you guys next week because we got another killer guest. And yeah, we'll see you. Stay safe.